Good morning. Hey, welcome to Can You Give Me 5 to 7 minutes? I'm actually sitting in my car. I was going to get out, but we had some pretty windy weather yesterday, but it was still not bad temperature wise. But now outside, I'm looking out there. We've got ice on the road. We got snow on the ground. The wind is whipping. It's 27 degrees. I don't think I'm going to get out of my car, but I just wanted to talk a little bit today. I was just kind of reflecting on the day that we had yesterday. And we got up and I was at church and I was preaching at church. And then we got to hang out with the church family for just a little while afterwards. But we had to leave pretty much right away because yesterday was my wife, Carrie. It was her birthday. And she didn't know it, but I had been talking to our daughters, I don't know, for a couple of weeks. And we had planned a surprise party for her. So we went up to Champaign, Illinois. And the kids, they all wanted to go to Portillo's, I believe it's called. And so we went to Portillo's and we walked into the restaurant, and keeping it a secret was the big thing, because here we are, we're going up there, and I started getting text messages, and it came up on the little screen on my car here, and it was from my daughters. And so I'm thinking, oh, great, the surprise is going to be spoiled, but it wasn't. So we went into Portillo's and walked in, and the kids were already sitting at a table, and I saw them sitting off to the right over there. And so we got our 4 grandkids, our 2 son-in-laws, and our 2 oldest daughters, and they're all there. And Carrie didn't see them. She just started walking right by them. Well, I kind of stepped over by them, and then I said, hey, Carrie, hey, Carrie. And so she turns and she sees them, and just the expression on her face was just wild. I mean, she had no clue that this was all planned out. And we had said, not long ago that, for our birthdays, we really don't want anything as far as gifts and things like that. If we want something, we'll just go buy it ourselves during the week or during the year. And we just said if they would just show up. And they're good about it. And we had a great time with them yesterday. She was surprised. We got some pictures. She texted them later on and she said, best day ever, and so it really is. But, my wife, she's been a stabilizing force, and just like a lot of women are, but she's been a stabilizing force in our family for years. I went to a Promise Keepers conference years ago, back in 1995, and listening to a minister named Wellington Boone, and he said one of the best things that you can do for your kids is to love their mother. And so, I would come home from work, worked at, like I said, at the prison all those years. And a lot of people would come home and, their kids would be there, and the kids would come running to him. He would greet the kids and, just do all kinds, whatever type of greeting that you would do with your kids. But it was different at our house, because when I came home, the kids were like that. They were happy to see me, this type of thing. But I would tell them, hold on one second. And so I went and greeted their mother, let them know that, it's important that I greet their mother. It's important that I show them that I love their mother in front of them. And so then I would greet their mother, say hello to Carrie. And then after I was done there, then I would go. And of course, we wrestle, we play, they show me things, we do whatever it is. But to love Carrie, I mean, we've been married now for this June. I keep track of these things because I remember these things. This June we'll have been married for 42 years. We met when I was 20 years old, and don't tell her, but she was 22. But anyway, I was 20 years old and we met, and we moved to Colorado right away. There was another surprise. I hadn't even told her that when we got married, my boss was looking for somebody to move to Colorado, and I volunteered to go. And so the night before we got married, I told her, I said, oh, by the way, well, actually, I didn't even tell her. It was my best man. He said, oh, I hear you guys are moving to Colorado. And she said, we are? Well, you know what? 42 years later, she's still here. But it's one of those things that with Carrie, I can be sitting in a room with her and we're not saying anything. And just to be in the room with her brings a peace, brings a comfort. She's a stabilizing, like I said, force in whatever room that she's in. I do some crazy things. And I've had a few times where probably, I don't know, I was counting the other day, there's probably 5 times that I should have actually physically been dead. And but I have a praying wife, and she says that you'll live and you'll not die, and you'll declare the works of the Lord. I remember one time when, before my one daughter, Paige, was married to my son-in-law, Doug, we were heading to Colorado, and they had a bungee jump off the Royal Gorge out in southern Colorado. And it wasn't that expensive. And I said to Doug, I said, man, we ought to go bungee jumping. Let's jump off the gorge. And of course, Carrie, she's the stabilizing, the more rational one, I guess you would say. She said, you know what? He's not your son, and you have a family. You're not jumping off the gorge. And so we didn't jump off the gorge that day. But I will say that I have probably one of the best wives, one of the most understanding wives. If I want to go play disc golf, she understands that I need to go play disc golf. And she's perfectly fine with me going and spending time playing disc golf. She's just that way. And so I just kind of wanted this morning just to talk a little bit about that, just to let you know that I believe that I have one of the best wives ever. I mean, and she doesn't like to spend money. Whew. I told people yesterday, I said, if it wasn't for Carrie, because of Carrie would have still had the first dollar that we ever made. But I tell people I spent that dollar a long time ago, even though I'm fairly frugal with my money as well. But she's really frugal. So to have a wife who loves her kids, she's the one who led our kids to the Lord, prayed with them to receive Jesus. She's been the one that's been there to raise them most of the time because I was working a lot. Not that I wasn't there to help raise our kids, but I worked a lot, and she spent the majority of the time with them. So I just wanted to just take a few minutes this morning just to kind of reflect and just to praise my wife here this morning. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Well, I've received the favor of the Lord with Carrie. And so we've been married 42 years this year. We're looking forward to a number of years after this. But I just wanted to encourage you guys, if you're married, man, treat your wife, elevate your wife, honor your wife. And because she, in my case anyway, she is probably, next to God, she is the most important person in my life. Some people will say, well, your kids are really important. My kids are really important. I look forward to seeing my kids. I look forward to seeing my grandkids and loving each one of them. But you know what? Carrie, on this earth, she is probably, well, I know, she is the most important person in my life above anybody. Treat your wife that way. Remind yourself of that. Let her know that she is extremely important to you. So in this 5 to 7 minutes that we're talking here this morning, it was all about Carrie. It's all about Carrie. In my life on this earth, I value Carrie. I will not put ministry. I will not sacrifice her on the altar of ministry. She's more important. And so, but I know God makes a way to where I can do both. But just this morning, I just wanted to lift her up a little bit. I just wanted to set her on that pedestal just a little bit here this morning and let you know that love your wife as deeply as you can, as often as you can, and love her in front of your children. Children know that she is really important, because you know what? You do that, it passes on. It's something it can become generational. Your sons, your daughters can treat their spouses in the same way. It's a generational thing. And it's something that God has. Hit like, hit share, share with me, share a comment. Tell me about you. Tell me about your wife. Tell me about your relationship. Tell me about your marriage. Just love to hear some encouraging things of how God has blessed you with the spouse that you have. So we'll see you next Monday on Can You Give Me 5 to 7 minutes, and maybe we'll be outside. It's probably going to be about 70 degrees next week. You know, we're here in Illinois. Some people say, well, we're in Illinois. The weather changes every 10 minutes. I think a lot of states say that. But next week, maybe we'll be out here and we'll be walking over in Lake Charleston, or someplace like that. But we'll see you next Monday on Can You Give Me 5 to 7 minutes.